Good morning, ladies. Today, our presentation gifts us with an introduction to centering prayer. Our presenter is Laurie Corkey, and she is the coordinator of Contemplative Outreach of Northern Virginia. And this is just one chapter of 90 chapters of this outreach, and it spans 39 countries. The mission of the outreach is to build and support a vibrant, contemplative community. Today, we join in a journey to explore this ancient way of prayer. Laurie and my paths have crossed in the past through Healing Touch. Laurie is a Healing Touch provider, which in its way is a sister practice to centering prayer. We're going to start out, as usual, with a meditation. And I'm very honored to have Dr. Jeanette Hablula do our meditation today. She's a doctor of nature, a doctor of neuropathy. She will lead us in this meditation. She has 21 years of holistic healing, education, training. She authored a book, The Magnificent Organ. She's retired from medicine, and albeit a lifelong learner, she's now my yoga teacher. So I present you with Dr. Jeanette to lead us in a meditation this morning.
Good morning and blessings of the morning and the day to everyone. I just want to say I'm a naturopath, not a neuropath.
Oh, I'm sorry. I always say that wrong.
Neuropathy is a bit above, a grade above me. But anyway, I'm a naturopath, and I have I started out at the end of 1992 as a reflexologist, and I still love that. And maybe sometime I'll get a chance to talk to you about that. But this morning, just to prepare us for what I know is going to be a very wonderful presentation, we want to center, as we typically do, to bring our consciousness into the center of our being by breath. And I'll say that if you focus on breath, you can't help but center, because breath enters through the center of your body, because you're breathing, your whole system is in the center of your body. So you breathe in through the nose, it goes down in through the bronchial tubes into the lungs and branches out to right and left. So we're going to begin by centering ourselves, by centering on the breath and preparing to deepen the breath, deepening our breath and allowing the breath to cause inner expansion. So this breath, I know you're familiar with it. It's in yoga, it's called 3-part breath, where you inhale through the nose and allow, as the lungs expand, there must be inner expansion to allow room for the lungs. So the abdominal area expands out before your rib cage and your chest expand. So that's what we'll try to do, to deepen the breath and take that breath down in through the center of the body, allowing the abdominal to open and make room for the expanding lungs to bring in new life. So rest the forearms on your thighs and let the hands be up in a receptive position, which is a beautiful position for the hands to be in when they can be still, to just be able to receive. And then bring the index finger to the inside of the thumb, right at the nail level. And just either lower your gaze or close your eyes and allow your consciousness to flow into the body with the breath. Deep, deep, feeling the abdominal area expand. And tap with that index finger 7 times on the side of your thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then hold with just a very slight pressure and see if you feel that electrical energy created by that tapping. And you did have a tapping session a few months back, that the electrical energy is activated and begins to move up your arm after you've done that tapping. And now with the breath, inhaling And when you exhale, close the throat just slightly so that with your exhalation, you feel and hear the sound of the sea, of the ocean. It's the sound that you hear in the shell, in the conch shell, or the shell when you put it up to your ear. Creating that sound with the exhalation. In my breath, I am the breeze. In this sound, I am the sea. In my heart is the universal rhythm, the universal drum. I am the universe. I and the universe are one. In Dr. Wayne Dyer's book, The 10 Secrets for Success and Inner Peace, the third law is you can't give away what you don't have. Acquire what it is you want to give and be open to receive what you need. So we open and we expand with breath. We open and we expand our inner self to receive. I open myself to reception, to receive today's knowledge. And I and we are open for what will come. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jeanette. That's beautiful. And such a meditation of unity, which is just perfect for this presentation of centering prayer. And Laurie, this is your show. You're the boss. And for those of you who have just entered, this is Laurie Corkey, our presenter, and she is the director of the Contemplative Outreach of Northern Virginia. Okay, Laurie, it's your time.
Thank you so much, Carol. And also thank you so much, Jeanette. That was a beautiful opening meditation. And yes, perfect for this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Zooming from over here in Chincoteague, Virginia, rather than from my hometown of Reston in Northern Virginia, where I am, as Carol mentioned, coordinator for the Northern Virginia chapter of Contemplative Outreach. And I'm so delighted to be with you. I feel as though I'm preaching to the choir, really already connected with you in following paths of the heart and energy. I was looking at your Caritas website where you describe, among many other things, honoring metaphysical phenomena such as spirit, sacred, love, consciousness, and caring. And quoting from your 10 Caritas processes, opening to spiritual mystery, unknowns, practice of loving kindness, cultivating one's own spiritual practices, and moving beyond ego to transpersonal experiences, and so much more. So as Carol mentioned, my own heart path takes expression through my training in and practice of healing touch, alongside the practice I'd love to share with you today, which Carol said was a sister practice for me, also very much heart-centered, centering prayer. So I'd like to take a few minutes up front to offer you a bit of historical context and a framework for seeing how this might relate or be different from other practices you might be familiar with. and then move on to sharing the actual elements of the practice, followed by a short practice together, and then take some of your questions. So let us begin. First, where are we even going? What is the ultimate destination of this journey? We are in a journey of transformation, a path that will involve the purification of consciousness. We're healing the wounds of a lifetime, evacuating emotional blocks and residue in our unconscious, allowing our true selves to reveal themselves in the presence of the divine. Through the letting go of self in this prayer, we're making room for the gradual development of a consciousness beyond rational thought into what some call non-duality. In the light of the geological and biological discoveries of contemporary science, historical cosmologies no longer communicate spiritual realities adequately. The world religions will have to adapt and integrate the new cosmology that is daily unfolding. And we are on a journey to awaken our innate capacity to relate to the divine on a level of union and unity. Centering prayer is viewed as a foundational daily practice that moves us along in this transforming, liberating, awakening, evolutionary process. So if you explore centering prayer in any depth, you will quickly bump into terms like the human condition, and very shortly after that, the false self, and finally also the spiritual journey. Many people have tried to find another term for false self. I think of it as the self that is making mistakes in its choices, but it's the idealized image of ourselves developed from our early childhood to cope with emotional trauma due to the frustrations of our instinctual needs for three things: survival or security, affection or esteem, or power or control. We look for happiness in these places, and what I think of as all the wrong places. So part of what's happening in centering prayer is the dismantling of these programs for happiness that we have constructed, liberating us and allowing us to flourish as our true selves, allowing the divine to fully express itself in us. Okay, so let's just do a very quick review of where centering prayer came from. The modern day practice of centering prayer is derived from centuries old, pre-Christian even, tried and true practices that used silence as a vehicle for connecting with God. You may be familiar with some of these names. And then in the 20th century, you're likely familiar with Thomas Merton and many, many more. Centering prayer was developed in the mid-70s, 1970s, by Father Thomas Keating and a group of Trappist Catholic monks who reworked these ancient teachings. And a primary example would be the cloud of unknowing to repackage or represent these contemplative practices in more contemporary language. So although the practice did arise and is practiced today within a Christian context, there's no doubt that the movement has come to understand since then that there are many paths that seek the source, and that these seekers, representing many faiths, are united in the same fundamental search. Father Keating himself came to this not only through years of his own devoted practice, but also through his insatiable curiosity and an invitation in 1984 to a broad range of spiritual teachers from virtually all the world's great wisdom traditions to gather at St. Benedict's Monastery in Snowmass, Colorado, where over 20 years of interreligious dialogue, they came to a number of points of agreement. The first of which was the world religions bear witness to the experience of ultimate reality, to which they give various names. And as you can see, there's a book available, The Common Heart, about this extraordinary effort. So today we're exploring what Cynthia Bourgeault calls a Christian color of this rainbow of great sacred traditions, which brings us to language, which is important. At Snowmass, they seemed to land on the term ultimate reality to express what many call God. We may all, as they did, have different names. For me, the closest I can get is eternal loving presence. For simplicity's sake, and so that I'm not all over the ballpark today with different terms, you may find me using the term God, and when I use it in the most transcendent sense. Please receive this and other terms today in that spirit. And please choose your own terms and language that resonate with your heart and your own spiritual practice. It is really silence that is at the core of this practice. And silence is the place where truly everyone can meet. So, silence. Father Keating used to love this quote. You will hear often in the centering prayer or contemplative world, God is closer than your breath. So I'm quoting now from a website called Closer Than Breath. We typically think of prayer as thoughts or feelings expressed in words towards God. But when we pray contemplatively, we move beyond words and thoughts. We're not speaking to God with words or thinking about God the way we usually do when we pray. In centering prayer, we go to an even deeper level. We move out of our head and into the core of our spiritual heart, and we rest there in silence and in stillness, in the presence of the divine. We are moving from conversation towards communion. We enter into this holy of holies at the innermost core of our being, where we are one with the divine and the divine is one with us. There we simply rest in divine presence. So, how do we move into this space from the mind into the heart? It can be helpful to remember that this is a prayer of intention and less of attention. While some meditational paths are concentrative processes to control the mind, such as focusing on your breath or a candle. Centering prayer is a receptive process. From Cynthia Bourgeau, the cave of the heart is entered not only or even primarily through purification and concentration, but through surrender and release. This is the hidden back door. Or put another way, the work of centering prayer is not done on the front end in your ability to access and sustain a state of openness or stillness. The work is done at the back end in the exact moment when you realize you've gotten engaged with a thought and are willing to let the thought go. So we're not blocking thoughts and we're not pushing any thought away. We are simply releasing it. And every time we release, we are strengthening a spiritual muscle. There's a wonderful story that Father Keating tells of a nun after a centering prayer session at one of his retreats, exclaiming, "Oh, Father Thomas, I'm such a failure. In 20 minutes, I've had 10,000 thoughts." And his response was simply, "How lovely, 10,000 opportunities to return to God." And what we'll be doing as a method to release thoughts is returning ever so gently to what we call a sacred word. And I will explain that shortly. We learn to use our sacred word to withdraw attention from our thoughts in order to rest in a gentle, open attentiveness to divine reality itself. And in doing this, the teaching is that we are consenting to the presence and action of God or divine reality. As we let go, release, release, and release again, using our sacred word, Thomas Merton says, gradually our heart begins to sharpen its perception of God's presence. It becomes more finely tuned to the frequency that the divine uses to speak to us. From Cynthia Bourgeau, remembrance of God is not a mental concept. It exists deeply embodied as a vibration, a homing frequency to which we can become increasingly sensitively attuned. An intriguing part of this for me is that most of what's happening in the prayer is happening beneath our level of awareness or consciousness. So let's now move into the 4 simple steps of this practice, starting with the sacred word. I'll review the guidelines first, and then we can try them. We follow 4 guidelines. In the first guideline, we choose a sacred word as the symbol of your intention to consent to God's presence and action within. We call the word sacred not because of its inherent meaning, but of the meaning we give it as the expression of our intention to consent. And what we are consenting to is divine presence and action within. It's preferably 1 to 2 syllables. It could be a name you use for God, or it could be something that expresses your disposition or attraction, like love or peace or thanks. Or if you prefer no word, you could also use the noticing of your breath as a sacred symbol. Sitting comfortably, second guideline is sitting comfortably with eyes closed. Settle briefly and silently introduce the sacred word as the symbol of your consent to God's presence and action within. You're establishing an intention to open your heart to the divine. Some people read a prayer or a short sacred text here, and we'll do that shortly. The third guideline: when engaged with your thoughts, return ever so gently to the sacred word. And you'll see below that thoughts include body sensations, feelings, images, reflections. And as any of you who have tried meditation can attest, thoughts will come. So having thoughts is normal and impossible to avoid. To avoid engaging in them is the key. And the instruction here is, whenever you become aware of them, simply return ever so gently, silently to your sacred word. Some say to introduce the word as gently as if you were laying a feather on a piece of cotton. You are gently reaffirming your intention to consent. And finally, the fourth guideline: at the end of the prayer time, we remain in silence with eyes closed for a couple of minutes. And this will allow whatever has happened to settle down and work its way into your active faculties, so you can carry more of your connection with the divine forward into your daily life. Okay, so let's practice a bit. I think I was planning on doing 5 minutes. I think that will probably be comfortable for everyone. Let's go ahead and make sure we're all muted. And if you wish, you can close your eyes as I talk through our steps. Remember that during the prayer time, whenever you become aware of thoughts or sensations or images, you'll simply be returning ever so gently and silently to your sacred word. I'll be ringing a bell and then reading a brief passage, ringing the bell once more, and then our 5-minute silence will begin. And after the 5 minutes, I will ring a bell 3 times and will remain with eyes closed for a minute or two, holding the silence as we all come out of our practice. So let's begin. Just silently choose your sacred word. And next, much like before, we sit comfortably, feeling the connection of your body with your chair, noticing the chair supporting you, feeling the earth supporting your feet, and noticing the placement of your hands and your shoulders, inviting a sense of relaxation. And as you silently introduce your word, I'll begin. Be still and know that I am eternal, loving presence. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. Amen. So be it. Let it be. So, if anyone has any reflections on what that was like or questions for me.
For me, I'm from. I just reflecting on this Sunday Pentecost, and my second word was harmony. Harmony in the body and harmony in relationship with God and with others. And as I was meditating, as you was leading, I feel my body relax, and I feel the presence of God. And I keep returning to the word harmony. So I think the centering word is important. And as you said, if I was distracted 20 times, or how many times, that's the how many times we return to God, the sacred being. Is wonderful, and silence is wonderful. I think 5 minutes too short. Thank you so much.
The practice, they recommend the practice be 20 minutes 2 times a day. So often, morning and I think, yeah, 2 times a day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's taking everyone a few minutes to come back. Absolutely. It just has so many benefits from just being silent, just for a moment, even though there are so many distractions in my mind, those moments of rest, of just feeling like, hey, I'm open to you. I'm open to my divine. I'm open to my inner essence, even if it's just a few moments throughout the time that I'm trying to be silent. It's healing. It's refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you transform somehow. That's where you're getting that influx of grace.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel it in my hands when I do the open my hands, my palms upward. I feel that. I know that's where I feel a presence or a heaviness or whatever it is. I feel it through my hands in into my body.
Mm-hmm.
I found that the breathing helped me to stay better connected. So I've been doing it for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and 20 minutes is good. And then I also take comfort in the statement from someone, I don't know if it was Keating or what, but he said, just showing up for those 20 minutes is important, because some days are more challenging than others to stay focused, but then
Yeah.
returning to the whatever word that we choose for that time. But again, that I was comforted by that, because yeah, sometimes you have more of a monkey mind, but that's helpful to know all of what you said, and return to that sacred word, and the deep breaths helped.
Yes. Yes, that is part of the teaching, is just showing up with the intention is enough. You can fill up the whole time with thoughts, but if you've shown up and you've had the intention, you've done the prayer. Yeah.
I felt that I needed more than the 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes, I did think other thoughts and had to keep using my word to come back. And near the end of the 5 minutes, I think I was where I was supposed to be, because no more thoughts came. And instead, I see orbs of light. I see purple, gold, blue, and that's no words, no thoughts. And then I just stay in that for a period. So I think if I did it more than 5 minutes, I would be at that point for a long period of time, which to me is the center where I need to be.
We hardly let you get out of your warm-up phase. You were warming up to it.
I loved what you said. I don't know who said that. It was some quote, but it's something about remembrance of God is a deeply vibrational.
Cynthia Bourgeot. Yeah, let me see if I can find that. Yes. This is from a book of hers called Heart of Centering Prayer, which I highly recommend. Remembrance of God is not a mental concept. It exists deeply embodied as a vibration, a homing frequency to which we can become increasingly sensitively attuned.
Yeah, that really resonates with me.
Yeah.
Well, I have 2 quotes that I think on when I'm contemplating, and they both are about vibration and energy. And the first one is from Thomas Keating, and the second one is from James Finley, a student of Thomas Merton. And Thomas Keating says, "We are the localized vibration of the infinite goodness of God's presence."
Beautiful.
And the one from James Finley is, "We are the song God sings. There are vibrations of divine love deep within us." And that kind of validates energy and the idea of energy between us in a vibrational state for me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Those are beautiful quotes. Perfect. So I'll put up, let's see, we don't have to go through this. These are some resources that are out there. There's so much out there. There's a lot of YouTube stuff out there as well. Those 3 books are, there's just so many, there are so many books. We have a roadmap on our website that, because I found when I was delving into this that I didn't know where to start. And this sort of is a gentle outline of a way that could make sense. But also on our website, you will find links to other resources. And then the online meditation chapel groups, I don't know if any of you are already in some of those, but those are international. They run 24/7, and you can go, and there's a link to it on our website, but you can, they ask you to register because they want to keep the spaces safe. And then you have access to a calendar, and you can look for specifically centering prayer groups. You can look for 12-step groups, but different contemplative groups. And all day, different times of day. Some of them do just centering prayer. Some of them and run only a half an hour. And then some of them are, I think some of them are an hour. Yes, I think some are an hour, and they might add on some Lectio Divina to that. But each group has a little description. And you can just come and go from those groups. You're not signing up to be a member. But it's a really nice resource if you can't find an in-person group.
You know, I took a picture of this slide, so I would have it, the information, you know, easily.
Mm-hmm.
Laurie, can you explain the logo, please, that has the even dimensional cross? And is that like the Alpha and the Omega, and then the two flowers?
You know, that is a wonderful question. I do not know. That is a Contemplative Outreach logo. And I would have to look into the history of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
And is that your email at the bottom, the Gmail, that we could get in contact with you?
Absolutely. That's not my personal email, but it's the one I do monitor that
Okay.
Email box. Yes.
I belong to a contemplative prayer group, and I know Joanne has been part of it here at St. Anne's in Arlington. Does anybody else belong to a contemplative prayer group?
Yeah, I do. We
Where
meet
is
by
yours?
Zoom. Well, we meet, started at St. Mark's, but now it's branched. Other people have come in, but we meet on Zoom on Saturday mornings at 9. It used to be in the home, but then COVID came and we found we worked on Zoom. Yeah.
So that's in Annandale or something.
Well, Vienna, Oakton,
Vienna.
but we have people that live in Alexandria and Arlington,
Mhm.
and have known other people.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's just a group of 6 right now. We used to have 8. You know, so we've got a connection kind of with St. Mark's, but that's where it all started.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're, you know, we've been around for maybe 20 years or. And you know, one thing that somebody who, yeah, a spiritual advisor said, she said, you know, after you do the 20 minutes, it's not like you're not looking for any insights at the time. You're just a presence of, and then, you know, later in the day, something might hit you that you said, "Oh, where'd that come from?" So it's like a opening to the presence of receiving that. So that's kind of cool because you're not supposed to be trying to figure things out while you're doing this presence. I just want to share that.
Oh, that's
And
true. It's the long run. Go ahead, Patty.
I was just going to say it's a reaffirmation of our being aware of the mystery and miracles that happen.
Now, Teresa is asking a question here about how to join one of the groups.
So there is, please feel free to email me. I would love to hear from you. But on our website, there is a page, this is for Northern Virginia, there is a page about finding a centering prayer group. And it has different groups listed. And we don't know, we know that there are groups out there that we don't know about. So for instance, Pat, I'm guessing that your group isn't listed because we don't know about it, but and maybe it is listed. But that is a place where people can go to find a group in Northern Virginia.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I live, I sent Laurie, I sent you a little
Yes,
message.
yes.
Yeah. I don't remember where you said you lived.
I live in Reston.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think that's where my granddaughter was born.
Mhm.
Reston, maybe.
Yeah.
We were in California, so I had no at the time, so I have no clue. I couldn't get around. But we live in Montclair now, which is down by Dumfries.
Right.
And Marianne Friesen is a friend of mine.
Oh, yes. A fan.
Yes. She and I are connected through the American Holistic Nursing Association, which obviously Jean Watson's very involved with us. And it's a mutual exchange back and forth with Jean's work and some of the early beginners of AHNA, which she was.
You know, you can write to Laurie, and if you'd like to write to myself, I could give you I think I probably have your email
I'm sure.
because you're
Great.
here. So I will send you, you know, our information as well.
Okay, that'll be great.
Okay.
And where are you? Are you
Arlington.
in
Arlington. And I could probably get you in touch with the St. Mark's one, you know.
I'm not Roman, but I'm close.
This is such a universal thing to do. That's
Yeah.
what's the beauty of it,
Yeah.
is that it's a unifier, not a divider. It brings
Yeah.
us, it's so inclusive.
We used to have, when I lived in Indiana, we had some, our priest was trying to, you know, get a centering prayer group developed, and we did for a little while. And then she moved and we moved, and that was it.
Well, we got you. There's 3 of us here that got you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we've come to our hour, and I do thank you, Laurie, for just a impactful, you know, heart-centered presentation. Just bringing this centering prayer to our, you know, our minds and making that awareness so much more acute. So I just do appreciate the effort and your passion for this type of prayer. Obviously, it's done much for you, as I think it has the potential for all of us.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity.
Okay, Dr. Jeanette, take us home now. Bring us to closure.
I'm just amazed. You know, that song, beautiful song, Maybe I'm Amazed. I am amazed at the divine alignment and harmony, because so many, I was writing down words, and some of these words I'm gonna tell you some of the words that I was writing down. One, silence, the vehicle of connecting with the core of the practice. Purification, I wrote down non-duality, ultimate reality. What Mother Teresa, well, I wrote this in as you were talking about the silence, and the silence being the divine reality. I wrote down this quote. Mother Teresa said, "God is a friend of silence." That wasn't what you said, but it was something that I had read in when I was preparing for today. And the centering, and also the word vibration. So you see, you're going to see how all of that just, it's like fits right into what I had prepared for closing. So I'm just amazed at this synchronicity, which of
Yes.
course is normal for the divine. It's absolutely
Yes.
normal.
Yes.
So everything has a frequency and a vibration, and there's the word. That is life. Life is a vibration. Who I am vibrates at a particular harmony and frequency and changes with encounters and evolution. Every thought creates a vibrational wave. Every emotion does also. And of course, there are positive and negative emotions and similar characteristics to the vibrations they create. I want us to, again, inhale and exhale, and inhale, and then bring your hands in front of you, pull them in, and then turn your fingertips this way forward and open, the fingertips still connected, and then open the thumbs and relax your arms down so you can relax and hold this position. This is like yoga mudra. In yoga, there's these hand positions, and this is the position of content. So just kind of relax your forearms and hold your hands there. And I am going to introduce a principle. It's a physics principle called sympathetic vibration. It's a principle of tuning forks. If you have two tuning forks, one is vibrating and one is still. And that stillness was something else you introduced. And you bring them close together. In a short period, the quiescent, the silent one, the still one will begin vibrating at the same frequency as the one that is active and that is vibrating. There is a supreme, a divine, a holy vibration at the core of the universe. The fourth secret in Wayne Dyer's book is embracing silence. And he says, for it is when you merge with the silence and become one with it that you reconnect to your source and know the peacefulness that some call God. Get close, become still, so that you will become an exquisite attunement. Thank you all for inviting me today.
Thank you, Dr. Jeanette. Absolutely. Just heartwarming. I can't thank you enough. So glad we have you as a
And thank the
opportunity of
divine
wisdom. Just your wisdom is great. I thank you all for coming. I hope you just got as much and absorbed as much as I did. And we'll see you next month. And Patty will be talking next month. Yes, she'll be our lady next month. All right, be an opportunity as well. Have a beautiful day. I think you all will now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.